Hi, welcome to Angel's Nook. If you like our videos, please like, comment, and especially subscribe so you know when the next one comes out. And if you're commenting, please let us know what you like, what you're interested in, what's helping you, and what you might like to see in the future. Thanks for stopping by.
Takoda here. Painting window frames is not just a pain in the tush, it can stand your hair on end. So, don't scurry off. I taught me mum a trick that'll make it a breeze.
This door was painted Amalfi about 3 years ago when we closed in this bay of the garage and made the workshop. After I initially thought that's what I was going to do with all 3 interior doors to the garage that go to the exterior into the yard. But I decided I did not like that color, and the other 2 doors have been done. This one still needed to be done. But this product, masking liquid, is your absolute best friend when you're painting panes of glass like this. The stuff is wonderful. Now the directions on the can are going to tell you put 1 thin coat. If you put 1 thin coat, you're going to wind up with a razor blade scraping. But if you put 2 quick coats on, it peels off like saran wrap when you're done and you have perfect edges. When you're applying it, you want to get on to the edges of your frame. If you were doing a raw wood door like this and you were going to stain it, you would need to use a smaller brush and make sure that you just got to the edge, not going up on the raw wood, because your stain would not, if you were using a penetrating stain, it wouldn't go in. The stain, the topical stain like HTP would go over it. But to get a good seal on this, you want to get over that edge and up onto it. It goes on white, like looking like glue. This has already been cleaned. I cleaned the glass and everything with Windex to get all the major dirt off of it. I'm waiting to degloss because part of my purpose of putting this on is I'm going to protect that glass from the deglosser and make my painting easier to do. So using a small brush, you just get into all the crevices. You can smooth it back out. HTP, I've used the product multiple times on multiple projects. HTP adheres very well over it. It's designed to have paint adhere over it. The cans of whichever product you use will tell you what products they don't want you to use over it. And because this is small panes, I just go ahead and paint the whole thing because I know I'm not going to accidentally drip deglosser anywhere on it. And by the time I get through painting these, I should be able to go back and add a second coat. It's faster than applying tape, and when you see it coming off, you're going to see it's way faster than standing. Just saw where a corner didn't get it. There. Than standing with a razor blade scraping all this, which is certainly an option. This makes life so much easier. The fact that it goes on whitish helps you to see that you've got everything sealed. I used this product when I painted this door before, and when I painted the other side, the red that matches the cabinets in the shop. This was not completely dry, it was still slightly sticky, but I'm not rubbing my brush hard to put this second coat on. Jasco also makes this product. Both of them are available on Amazon. I do not like the container that Jasco puts theirs in. It's a plastic tub with a lid that is not airtight. You're not going to use a ton of this, and I know from experience it has a very, very long shelf life if it's airtight. And this can from this company is metal and seals airtight. The buckets by Jasco do not. If you get more paint up on the frame than you intend to, the liquid mask, smooth it, because any ridges in it when it dries will show under the paint. I could have just done a double coat of a band like this. There's not that much more of the glass to paint, and I've had Murphy's ugly head show up when dealing with deglossers, so I'm ensuring that I won't have any etching of my glass. This now needs to dry for 4 hours, then I can start deglossing and painting. This is dried now. It's had the 4 hours so that it's completely dry. It's not going to lift. It's not going to smear when I paint. So now I'm actually going to degloss. Since this already got a pretty good scrub before I did the windows, because I do not want to clean the windows right after I have freshly painted. So they got a good wash before I applied that. When you're painting a door, this edge is a personal preference for what you're doing with it. If I'm painting a front door, I paint this edge to match the outside of the front door, and the interior matches the interior of the house if I'm doing it a different color. In this case, I treated this as though it were the outside coming from the shop. So this edge matches this, and then the back side is the red that I mixed that matches the cabinets and the accent colors in the shop. So this is ready to go. This is paint that got smeared on here, goes into a shop, things happen. And the green tape was activated with a damp cloth, green frog tape. And you want to attach your tape at the top, and you want to take it underneath the edge on the bottom too, which will help keep this from lifting on you whenever you're painting. I've mixed a custom color to match the other 2 doors that are here in the garage. It is 1-to-1 London and Irish Garden, which means equal amounts of each one if you haven't dealt with ratios. I'm not going to paint the whole door on camera, but I'm going to show you part of why I like to have the whole door, the whole glass painted. Smooth those out while you're stippling the frame, or you will have lap marks. I'm going to finish painting this off camera because there's not really a lot exciting about painting a door, but you can see that I could be able to not worry if my roller got out into the middle of the glass. I've got it done. I've used a cut-in brush, and it's how I painted panes like this and trim for the majority of my life. But when I found this product for windows, especially when I'm using water-based paints, it's so much easier to do this and so much faster than either taping the windows or trying to cut in and then using a razor blade and scraping the whole window. Someone who uses a cut-in brush every day doing trim, they could have whipped this out with no problem and not have had paint on the glass. The average person can't. So that's what makes this really amazing. And after I get this painted, we'll come back and we'll see how easy it is to take this off and how great your glass looks. I was happily surprised that the London Irish Garden mix in one coat covered the Amalfi perfectly. On these panes, it needed 2 coats, but that didn't surprise me because you don't want to leave heavy enough paint on these panes that it pools and makes runs, because that just doesn't look nice. So 2 coats on that was not a big deal. This has dried. I'm going to use a safety razor. I like it because I have control over it. You may want an X-Acto knife, case cutter, but I like the control I have with this. This one I've already cut off, but you take the blade, you really want to get sharply in those corners, and you pull that blade all the way down. You should be able to feel it hitting the glass. I double check the corners because they are where it may not be cut completely and cause you a problem. And then if you use the blade tip to pull the corner, it just magically starts pulling off. It feels like a piece of saran wrap. And your edges are perfect. So it's just cutting the rest of these out, and this is all done. It's sealed. It's a perfect edge. And to me, much easier than having to go in here and scrape and at times gouge these frame edges and not get a perfectly smooth edge, because I used to use just a razor blade scraping windows. So this is easier in my opinion. A couple of things about this that I forgot to mention. When you are cutting, you have got to use significant pressure. You want this blade to go all the way through that coating and paint to the glass, and you should be able to feel when you hit the glass and stay with that pressure to cut it. Double check those corners. And also, this product only works for masking glass and mirrors. It doesn't mask to make making stripes on paint. You can't do that, but it does work extremely well for this. I discovered liquid masking tape probably 30 years ago watching This Old House series on PBS when they had a bazillion wood-paned windows that they needed to paint in a historic home, and the windows were like 200 years old that had been repaired. And this was the product that they were using to do that because they were painting all of them. It will adhere to wood perfectly fine. It stays stuck. It's designed to be painted over, and the paint that you apply over it to adhere and it to stay adhered to the surface that you had, whether it was plastic like this already painted or raw wood. It's what it's designed for. It's not designed for you to say, what I meant by the striping is it's not designed for you to say, oh, that would be great for me to make perfect stripes on something that I'm doing decoratively. So I'll just tape it off, put that on there, paint in between and try to peel that off. No, it's not gonna lift off of wood, and that's what makes it sturdy to stay in place when you have painted over it. It's not gonna lift off of that surface. It only lifts off of glass and mirror obviously because it's got a glass coating on it. That's what it's designed for.